This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, part 2 of which discs we added to our collection in March 2025. This time around, we're looking at 5 Criterion discs plus a couple of outliers. Let's check it out. So we took advantage of the recent Criterion 50% off flash sale. We also had a couple of gift cards to use since we are Criterion channel subscribers. All these discs are in color. They're all region A. They all are 4K and Blu-ray combo, so there's 2 discs in each case. They all have extras, of course, and they all have booklets, which range from the standard booklet, it's kind of stapled in the middle, to one that folds out to a big poster, and 3 of them that are accordion type. I prefer the standard booklets. The other type I think are just too unwieldy and too inconvenient to use. Only one of these discs was a blind buy, but we're going to go chronologically, starting with JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling from 1986. This is about a comedian who severely burns himself during a drug incident and has a near-death experience in which he reviews his life. Richard Pryor stars. He directed and he co-wrote this, and it's based on his own life. Now, I used to listen to comedy albums growing up over and over again, even into my early teens. But when I heard Richard Pryor's first album, that was like a thunderbolt. I'd never heard anything like that. It wasn't jokey. It was more observational, more conceptual, and he also broke a lot of taboos with language and social observations and racial observations. It was just the funniest thing I had ever heard. And I always found his films, however, disappointing. I never thought he could cross over from the edginess and the uniqueness of his stand-up translated into film. Even films people like Stir Crazy and Silver Streak, I never thought they were that funny. Blue Collar is an exception, but that was a more serious performance, actually. But I think his best films, obviously, are his concert films. Those are just classic, and they're just outstanding forms of a stand-up comedian. And I think you can see his influence in a lot of stand-up comedians today. I don't remember much about this film when I first saw it in 1986. I remember being, again, a little disappointed, but I was willing to give it another shot. Honestly, I added this one to my order at the last minute, so it was kind of an impulse thing. One reason was I wanted to see the extra, which is a Dick Cavett Show interview with Richard Pryor. But then later on I realized I probably saw that already, and it's probably on YouTube somewhere. But at any rate, we got the Richard Pryor film added to our collection. The next one is something quite different. It is Crossing Delancey from 1988. This is about a single Manhattan woman who meets a man through her Jewish grandmother's matchmaker. And she and this man, they meet, have very different lifestyles. She runs a bookstore. He runs a pickle store. So it's sort of like a white collar versus blue collar thing showing up. And the question is, is this going to work out? Are these two worlds going to collide, or are they going to work together? And I'm not really a rom-com person. If you've watched this channel, you can probably figure that out by now. But occasionally I find ones that I like. The director here, Joan Micklin Silver, also directed a film that I really like called Chilly Scenes of Winter. That's on Criterion also. I have an old Twilight Time disc of that. That's a much darker kind of rom-com, but I do appreciate that one. What I like about this, one thing I like about this is how it's the clash of lifestyles between these two characters. I find that interesting. I find the locale of New York City interesting, of course, and it explores what's really important in a relationship. Will these two get together despite their lifestyle differences? It's one of the rare films also that I own that misses the Kazdoy Closet and might actually watch with me. The third Criterion disc we picked up is Godzilla versus Biollante. Talk about another change of pace. This is from 1989. It's in Japanese and in English. And this is about a scientist who combines Godzilla's genetic code with those of his deceased daughter to create a new kind of monster. Interestingly, this morning I found out that This was the third best-selling disc last week, which is really unusual because usually the best-selling discs are very popular films, like number 1 was Wicked, number 2 was Moana 2. This one came in number 3, so Godzilla lives, I guess. This was the only blind buy in this Criterion flash sale, but I did watch the first half hour of it on the Criterion channel, and it's still on there as far as I know. And to be honest though, I already figured I'm going to get this one because it's Godzilla, and I have the whole Godzilla set from Criterion. Plus, it's also from one of the darker areas of the Godzilla franchise, which makes it much more interesting. Continuing chronologically, the fourth Criterion disc we picked up is The Grifters from 1990. This is about a small-time con man who has torn loyalties between his estranged mother and his new girlfriend, both of whom have their own agendas because everybody here is a grifter. I saw this in 1990. I need to revisit it. I've been meaning to get this. Then when Criterion announced they were doing an edition of it, that was enough for me. That's a neo-noir, which is always tempting, but also has 2 top novelists attached. The source material was the novel from Jim Thompson, who also wrote the source material for After Dark, My Sweet, which is a outstanding neo-noir. I did an episode on that if you want to check that out. And the screenplay here was by another novelist, Donald E. Westlake. So some good credentials there. It was recently screened at Noir City Film Festival in Hollywood with Annette Bening participating in a Q&A before the film. And the last Criterion disc we picked up during this flash sale is No Country for Old Men from 2007. This is about a hunter who stumbles upon a drug deal gone bad, along with $2 million in cash. And then, of course, whenever those things happen, there are complications. This is almost like a subgenre, I would think, thinking of films like A Simple Plan, for example. Same basic idea. And I just love those types of films. And I really don't need to tell you about No Country for Old Men, right? It's got the Coen brothers directing. Big fans of them. I own almost all of their films. And I've only had the old DVD of this one. So when the new edition came out, I was on board for that. I always upgrade their films. I just think they're great. I would love to see them do a nice edition of A Serious Man, which is another one of my favorites of theirs. This is one of their best. And it's got a great cast. Tommy Lee Jones, Woody Harrelson, Javier Bardem won Best Supporting Actor for it. This won Best Film that year, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. So those are the 5 Criterion discs we picked up in March. But wait, there's more, because there are 2 random selections that we also added, starting with The Witch from 2015. This is the 4K and the Blu-ray. It's about an isolated Puritan family in 1630s New England that becomes unraveled by the forces of witchcraft and possession. Now, this is from director Robert Edgers. It's his first feature film. I've seen all his films, and I have a couple of them in my collection. I seem to admire his films more than love them, but I think he always does something very interesting and always seems very authentic. I did see this streaming. It's the only time I saw it, and I had my eye on it for quite a while, thinking I should add this to my collection. But then when Amazon had it for $13.99, I grabbed it, even though I do not like to order from Amazon. I went ahead and got this one, and then they said it's going to take about a month to get there. I thought, that's really strange. And then it did show up in about a month. Look at that cover. You can see it's how wrinkled the plastic is on there. I'm not sure why, but I thought that was just really odd. So anyways, I got this one, and then to hit that shipping minimum, free shipping minimum, because I'm not a Prime member, I went ahead and also got Monster from the Ocean Floor from 1954. This one's in black and white, and it's about an American woman on vacation in Mexico who spots a monster coming up from the ocean, and she teams up with a marine biologist to destroy it. Now, this continues my affection for these 50s and sometimes early 60s creature features, the low-budget ones, or no budget ones, you might call them. This was produced by Roger Corman, the first film he produced all on his own. He didn't direct it, unfortunately, but this is one of those Film Masters discs. I've talked about them before. I like what they do. I have about a dozen of these, and maybe I'll do an upcoming episode ranking the discs I have so far once I watch them all. And so we're going to go with Monster from the Ocean Floor to finish up our collection update for March 2025. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Did you pick up anything during the recent Criterion flash sale? Share your thoughts and ideas. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribing is free. Also free is we're on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link down below how to get there. Most recently, we left brief reviews for Phantom Lady and The Secret of the Whistler. So a couple of noirs for you. So that's free. What's not free is my ebook is available. It is True Tales from the Teacher Trenches. You can get that through Amazon.com. It's about my 32 years experience as a teacher, teaching high school English. And it's available through Amazon.com. Like I said, it's for your Kindle. But if you don't have a Kindle, you can use the free Kindle app on any device of your choice. And it's going to set you back the huge sum of $1.99. So check that out. Hope you like this episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.